Memory is an amazing phenomenon. A passing comment or even an aroma can lead to the vivid recall of some event or some person, even from long in our past. Through our memory, we can still feel the joy or the sorrow, the happiness or the trauma of an event. However, it can decline. We experience the sadness with a person suffering from Alzheimer's disease, one where you cannot be sure that a dearly beloved father or mother really remembers you, and you desperately want to be brought to mind. Even though it may decline, memory is often one of the last faculties to go in the human brain. It can be so strong that decades after an event, people can recall an experience as if it were yesterday. This recollection can bring back strong feelings which make us laugh at the pleasure or weep over an unhealed heart. Unfortunately, many of us know one person in particular who suffers Alzheimer's. That's Father John Ossola, a former pastor. I remember a couple summers ago, his friend Mike brought Father John to Mass here at Little Flower. And I knew he was not doing real well because he walked over to me and introduced himself, not sure who I was. And I asked him, "Do you remember being pastor here at Little Flower?" "No, not really." And kind of smiled. And then then after Mass, I talked to him again with him, and his face lit up. He pointed at one of you, I don't remember who it was, who says, "I remember you." It was a wonderful moment to share that with him. Up until recently, he said Mass every day, but now he's not able to say Mass, but I think if I would go talk to him and start the Mass with him, he would fall in after me, having memorized the Mass and knowing it by heart. So when you memorize something, you're said to know it by heart. That is why we want to be remembered by someone important to us. We want that person, of course, to know us by heart. Isn't it wonderful to know that God always remembers you, remembers me, remembers us in that we are always in mind, and that God does know us by heart. That is a powerful remembering. In our gospel this morning, amid all the scoffing and jeering and the taunting of our Lord Jesus, "If you are the King of the Jews," and so on and so forth, it is one of the criminals crucified with Jesus who simply pleads this: "Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom." The good thief simply asks Jesus to remember me, and Jesus tells him that be to remembered by God is paradise. It's a wonderful way to understand the kingship of Christ, because we know that Christ, our King, is not about earthly power or earthly lands or buildings, riches or might. We know that Jesus' kingship is not about lording over us or making us frightened with his compassionate judgment. The power of Christ the King is seen in his memory, holding every person in this world close to himself, calling each of us by name. So what a great feast day. This final day of the church's year, when we remember the saving memory of God. So at this Mass, let us join our voices and prayers with all those who long for paradise, as we also say, "Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom."